is as real as it gets. We'll presume nothing.
Defend ourselves at all cost. If that sub so much as comes around or opens up a tube door, we're gonna take her out.
Now, one of the good things about this film is there was a number of things that were going on, and time is always of the essence. The entire film, like I said, it builds. It gets hot, 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 until ultimately it starts to boil. But to me, that's what makes it really, really, really cool. It never slows down.
Soup, he's coming around. Con, sonar, the Akula's turning towards sir.
So once they actually have an encounter with the Russian sub, they find out that they are not only in the deep with them, but there's also a possibility that they may have to also launch nuclear missiles before the Russians launch nuclear missiles in order to save and secure the free world.
Con, sonar, torpedo on the water bearing 241. Con, sonar, second torpedo on the water bearing 242.
All ahead flank, right full rudder.
As the tensions rise, the stakes get higher and the obstacles get bigger.
1,000 yards and closing fast.
Con, radio, receiving emergency action message. Recommend alert 1. Recommend alert 1.
950 yards.
Launch a 5-inch evasion device. Launch your countermeasures.
Is as they go deeper and deeper into the ocean, they lose communication. Communicating with the outside world and the command center becomes more and more difficult as the tension grows, until ultimately they lose total communication, and now they're relying on their wits and their abilities in order to complete the mission.
Sir, the first torpedo's going after the countermeasures. They missed! Sonar, con, sonar, second torpedo incoming, it's gonna be close!
Now, once they are attacked by a Russian sub, then the whole issue between the two comes to a complete boil, because not only are they attacked by this Russian sub, their actual radio contact is damaged and they no longer can communicate at all with the outside world. However, the very last order that they were given was to launch their nuclear missiles. And according to the military, whatever the last order you were given is the order you should follow.
Captain, got the EAM. What do you think?
I think there's nothing on this.
Yes, sir. It got cut off during the attack.
Then it's meaningless.
Sir, this is an EAM pertaining to nuclear missile.
No, Mr. Hunter. That's a message fragment.
Now, anyone who's ever had a job where you've had to be in charge of other people, whether it was a manager or a supervisor or, an owner, one thing that we all hate is to be questioned, particularly questioned in public. So if somebody is questioning your thought process, it can be seen as being, depending upon the person, and again, I have personal experience with this, but depending upon the person, it can be seen as a bit of being traitorous or being a hater, or even worse, a form of mutiny, to go against the person, questioning their ability, questioning their intellect, questioning their thought process. So again, even though Captain Ramsey, again, is a mighty powerful and confident captain, the fact that Denzel Washington would even have the temerity or the balls to question any of his orders sets him off. And it's so clear, not only in what he says, but in his body language in general. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is when it comes to a full boil, where the two mesh, clash, and a mutiny is declared.
All I'm saying, Captain, is that we have backup. Now it's our duty not to launch until we can confirm.
You're presuming that we have other submarines out there ready to launch.
What was really unique about this is that each of the two had a point of view, which as a viewer, you could actually identify with. Like I said, there is no right or wrong character in this story.
Mr. Hunter, I've made a decision. I'm captain of this boat. Now shut the fuck up!
The genius part of the film is that you don't necessarily think what Captain Ramsey is doing is wrong either. So again, there isn't a bad guy. There isn't a villain or someone with an immoral sort of position. They're both just two really hard military submarine soldiers that are trying to do what they believe is in the best interest of the United States. And that is the core of the dilemma when you're watching this film.
Furthermore, you continue upon this course and insist upon this launch without confirming this message first. I will be
Chief of the boat,
back by the rules of precedence,
as captain and commanding officer of the USS Alabama,
regulations
I order you to place the XO under arrest on the charge of
Navy regulations.
I say again, I order you to place the XO under arrest on the charge of mutiny. Come!
Now, once this mutiny is declared, the crew has to make a decision to follow Denzel Washington, who of course is a new XO who just came on the scene, or follow Captain Ramsey, who they've been with for years and years and years. It literally divides the crew in half.
They're fueling their missiles! We don't have time to fuck around!
Sir, I think you need time to think this over.
I don't have to think this over!
Captain, I relieve you of your command of this ship. Cobb, escort the captain to his stateroom. I'm assuming command.
You're not assuming anything.
Chief of the boat, Captain Ramsey's under arrest. Lock him in his stateroom.
Captain, please.
Now, Cobb!
Aye, sir. Mitchell, Walker, take the captain below.
Now, Denzel Washington, because he was technically in the right by relieving Captain Ramsey of his duties, he is now the captain. But that totally fractures the entire crew. So, of course, now that we have that beef, of course the Russians come back again.